Tensions between India and Pakistan have once again ignited, this time along the southernmost edge of their border, at the disputed territory known as Sir Creek. A narrow strip of marshland separating Pakistan's Sindh province and India's Gujarat state, Sir Creek may appear small on the map, but it holds massive strategic and economic importance. In the last 48 hours, Pakistani intelligence sources have reported unusual Indian troop movements and naval activity near the Sir Creek region. This has prompted an immediate and strong response from Pakistan's Inter-Services Public Relations, the DG ISPR, warning India of serious consequences if it attempts any military adventurism in the area. Welcome to Planet Stream, your window to the world's most important geopolitical flashpoints, military movements, and global affairs that shape our future. Stay informed, stay ahead. This is Planet Stream. To understand the current situation, let's take a step back. Sir Creek is a 96-kilometer-long marshy estuary that runs between India's Kutch region and Pakistan's Sindh province. At first glance, it looks like an insignificant waterway filled with muddy channels and mangrove forests. But beneath its shallow waters lies something of great value: oil, gas, and rich marine resources. Both nations have claimed the right to the creek and its adjoining maritime boundary since independence in 1947. The issue remained unresolved even after multiple dialogues and negotiations, as each side interprets colonial-era maps differently. For Pakistan, the rightful border lies along the eastern bank, giving Islamabad control of most of the creek and extending its maritime boundary deep into the Arabian Sea. India, however, insists on the mid-channel line, which would push the boundary westward, giving India more access to maritime zones rich in economic and defense potential. This disagreement directly affects the exclusive economic zones of both countries, an area that determines who controls fishing rights, sea routes, and potential underwater oil reserves. According to recent reports, Indian forces have allegedly established temporary observation posts near the Sir Creek Delta, along with drone surveillance activities that have entered Pakistan's claimed airspace. Sources within Pakistan's maritime security agencies claim that Indian reconnaissance drones crossed into Pakistani territory under the guise of coastal mapping missions. This action has been described by the Pakistani side as a clear violation of international norms and an intentional provocation. Meanwhile, local fishermen in the Pakistani coastal town of Keti Bandar reported hearing low-flying aircraft and seeing unusual movements of naval patrol boats in the creek area, something rarely witnessed since the 2008 Mumbai crisis. The situation escalated further when India's Defence Ministry released a statement emphasizing increased vigilance along the coastal frontier, citing security concerns and the need to counter infiltration attempts. This rhetoric was quickly rejected by Pakistan, with the DG ISPR responding in a bold and unambiguous tone. In a televised briefing from Rawalpindi, Pakistan's DG ISPR declared, "Pakistan's borders are secure, and any provocation at Sir Creek or elsewhere will receive an immediate, calculated, and forceful response. We will not tolerate any violation of our territorial integrity, land, sea, or air." The spokesperson went further to accuse India of deliberately trying to escalate tensions to divert global attention from its internal unrest and regional instability. India's attempts to provoke Pakistan along Sir Creek are not new, but Pakistan is fully prepared, diplomatically, militarily, and strategically, to safeguard every inch of its land and waters, the DG ISPR added. This statement immediately went viral across regional and international media platforms, drawing attention from major outlets like Al Jazeera, Reuters, and The Diplomat. Analysts believe the bold reply from Pakistan's military was not only a deterrent but also a message, a reminder that Pakistan remains vigilant across all fronts, especially during heightened tensions in South Asia. Sir Creek might seem like a narrow strip of wetlands, but its strategic significance is enormous. Control over this region could shift maritime boundaries and open access to lucrative natural gas deposits beneath the Arabian Sea. It also holds military value. Whoever controls the creek gains better coastal surveillance and potential naval positioning near the international shipping lanes. Both Pakistan and India maintain small patrol detachments in the area, but any large-scale mobilization could quickly spiral into a dangerous confrontation. The Pakistani Navy and Maritime Security Agency have been on high alert, increasing surveillance patrols, radar coverage, and reconnaissance flights along the southern coast. Satellite imagery has shown enhanced activity at Pakistani naval bases, while reports suggest coordination between the Navy and Air Force to monitor the Indian buildup. On the diplomatic front, Islamabad has taken the matter to international attention, briefing friendly nations and regional organizations about India's alleged provocations. Pakistani officials argue that India's moves are aimed at destabilizing peace in the region at a time when global focus is already divided between multiple international conflicts. Indian officials, however, maintain that their operations are routine and focused on protecting national security interests. But this explanation has done little to calm concerns, as the timing coincides with India's upcoming elections, a period historically marked by heightened nationalist rhetoric and aggressive posturing toward Pakistan. Security analysts believe the Sur Creek flare-up may be part of a broader pattern of strategic signaling by New Delhi. India has been strengthening its naval capabilities, particularly around the Arabian Sea, while expanding cooperation with Western allies under frameworks such as the Quad Alliance. By asserting control over disputed maritime zones, India may be attempting to project regional dominance and counter Pakistan's growing cooperation with China, especially in the context of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor (CPEC). On the other hand, Pakistan's military has maintained that peace cannot exist alongside provocation. Officials stress that Pakistan desires stability in the region but will not hesitate to defend its sovereignty. The DG ISPR's warning served as a clear message that while Pakistan remains committed to diplomacy, its armed forces are fully prepared for any escalation. The Sur Creek dispute has remained unresolved for decades, but recent developments have made it a flashpoint once again. Both sides have engaged in multiple rounds of talks over the years, including joint survey missions and proposals for maritime boundary demarcation. However, progress has always stalled due to differing interpretations of the 1914 Bombay Government Resolution, a colonial-era document that both countries cite to justify their claims. Technically, the dispute could be settled through international arbitration under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea (UNCLOS), but neither side has been willing to internationalize the issue formally. For Pakistan, keeping the matter bilateral ensures that its position remains protected without foreign interference. For India, international arbitration could set a precedent for other territorial disputes, which New Delhi wants to avoid. In the meantime, the people living near the region continue to suffer. Fishermen on both sides are frequently arrested for crossing invisible maritime boundaries. Dozens of fishing boats remain impounded, and innocent lives are disrupted due to political friction far beyond their control. The situation underscores how unresolved borders continue to impact human lives long after the guns have gone silent. As Pakistan's armed forces stay on alert, analysts warn that even a minor incident, like a drone incursion or naval skirmish, could trigger a larger conflict. Both nations possess advanced surveillance systems and quick response capabilities, meaning any miscalculation could escalate within minutes. Yet, despite the risks, there is still room for dialogue. Regional stability demands that both sides return to the negotiation table, perhaps with mediation or technical committees to revisit the creek's demarcation. A peaceful resolution would not only secure borders but also open opportunities for joint exploration of marine resources, something that could benefit both economies. Still, the tone from Rawalpindi remains resolute. The DG ISPR's recent statement emphasizes that Pakistan's armed forces are battle-hardened, experienced, and ready. It highlighted that Pakistan has successfully maintained deterrence along all its borders and that any attempt to test its resolve would be met with a firm and immediate response. Meanwhile, social media in both countries has been ablaze with patriotic fervor. Hashtags like #SirCreek and #JustReply have trended online, reflecting the emotional charge surrounding the issue. Supporters in Pakistan have lauded the military's strong stance, while Indian users have echoed calls for firmness from their own side. International observers, however, caution that such provocations could distract both nations from pressing domestic challenges. Economists warn that escalating tensions could affect regional trade, investor confidence, and maritime security in one of the world's busiest sea routes. The Arabian Sea is not just a frontier between two rivals, it is a lifeline for oil shipments, commerce, and global logistics. Any instability here could ripple across international markets. As the situation develops, all eyes remain fixed on the SirCreek Delta, a quiet, muddy waterway now at the center of an increasingly dangerous geopolitical storm. Whether diplomacy prevails or confrontation intensifies will depend on how both nations interpret the next move. Pakistan's message remains clear: peace is preferred, but sovereignty is non-negotiable. India, on the other hand, continues to emphasize surveillance and security measures. The world watches closely, hoping cooler heads prevail before another crisis unfolds. You're watching Planet Stream, where we bring you real-time analysis of the world's most crucial geopolitical flashpoints. If you found this report insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Planet Stream for more in-depth global updates, breaking news, and defense analysis from around the world. Until next time, stay informed, stay aware, and keep watching Planet Stream.